Man, Morbius sure is a movie. People made it, and I watched it. It exists. I know this review's late. I wasn't able to see it opening weekend or opening night because of work and stuff. Hopefully I can try and see movies as quick as I can. So I'll try to see movies quicker so I can review them earlier, but alright, as for Morbius. So I knew this movie was going to be bad. I remember the first trailer came out like 2 years ago in January 2020, and I said, it looks bad, doesn't look good at all. And I remember it came out, I think it came out either the same day or around the same time as a trailer for Birds of Prey, and I was like, man, comparing these two, it's like Birds of Prey looks like it has so much personality and fun and color, and Morbius just looks dull and boring and crap. And what do you know, I was right about both of those movies. This movie it makes both Venom movies look good by comparison, because at least those movies, at the very least, those movies aren't boring. You know, they're so stupid that you can at least say, okay, you know, these are bad, but, you know, they're kind of funny, I guess. Alright. So, I'm going to spoil this whole movie. It's been out for like a week at this point, so you should have gotten a chance to see it. So yeah, let's talk about Morbius, starring Jared Leto. Jared Leto, who pretended to be disabled for a movie where his character is disabled for like the first 15 minutes. Okay. But anyways. So, let me tell you something about Sony. They suck. They're the worst. They make the worst movies. Like, whenever I think of Sony, I love PlayStation. I love their games, you know, Uncharted, God of War, Last of Us, Horizon, great games. When it comes to their movies, god damn, they are bad. Uncharted, which I reviewed, sucked. Ghostbusters, both new Ghostbusters movies, 2016 sucked, and Afterlife, I didn't really like at all. Not because I'm a sexist, I just didn't think it was good. But, then there was, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which the first one was like, okay, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. And then the second one was just, okay, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's just kind of sad, you know. And the problem with Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the same problem with this movie. Well, not really as much, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 tried to be too much. It tried to set up too much. It tried to say, listen, we're getting the Sinister Six together. We're going to have so much stuff in the future, and you're going to watch it, and you're going to love it. And it's like, no, nobody wants to see a Sinister Six movie without Spider-Man. But apparently that's what they still want to do. Sony, you've been trying for years, literally years, to make a Sinister Six movie. Nobody wants to see it. You messed up the first time. Why are you still trying? Nobody wants to see this movie. But anyways, yeah, I wasn't excited for this movie, and I saw it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was just going to be a train wreck, which it kind of was, but it wasn't like Suicide Squad. The thing about Suicide Squad is that movie is just broken. Like, that is just a broken movie. This movie is just so underwhelming and lame, you know. Those are weird words to use, but that's how I feel. It's just underwhelming, you know. Like, Michael Morbius as a character isn't interesting. He's not relatable. He's just a blank slate, you know. I never really cared about him or his struggles. I never, like, how am I supposed to feel when he becomes Morbius? You know what I mean? Like let's look at Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. When you see him at the beginning, you see that he is a, you know, he's kind of a dick, but he has the potential to be a brilliant scientist, and he has the potential to be a good man who can really help a lot of people. Or no. I meant Dr. Octopus in the Spider-Man PS4 game, my bad. So you look at him and you think, this is a good man, and you know he can help people, and you know he really wants to be a good person. But you just see, as he slowly becomes consumed by the Dr. Octopus persona, you just see the tragedy there. You see that this is so sad because he could have been a good guy, even though you know it's coming because he's Dr. Octopus. When he becomes Dr. Octopus, you feel heartbroken because he could have been a good guy and Peter cared about him. How do I feel when Michael becomes Morbius? Do I feel sad? No, I didn't care about this guy. Didn't really get enough time to know him. Don't really care. Should I feel excited that he's becoming Morbius? Well, I don't know about that because he's just killing a bunch of random people. That's another thing. This movie is like, he's like, I was accused of murder, but I didn't kill anyone. Yeah, you did. You killed 8 people on that boat. So I don't think I'm supposed to root for him because he killed people, and he constantly talks about, oh, it's a curse. It's a curse. I'm not supposed to have this. I'm a monster. Okay, so I shouldn't be happy that he's Morbius. Should I feel bad for him? Because I don't really. Should I feel scared of him? I'm not scared because this movie's PG-13 and there's no blood or violence, and the action in this movie is terrible. You can barely see anything going on, and it's just pathetic. You know, it looks bad. You can't see anything. Like, the action in this movie is like an anime fight because they're constantly like moving, and then they're slowing down to do a cool pose, like a splash page, and then they're moving all fast. They're moving all around the subway, and then they freeze again, and you see them, and they're doing a pose, and you're like, okay, is this a fight or is this like a photo shoot? What is this? This looks like some concept art, you know, that they just put in the movie because why not? It's cool. It looks cool. Jared Leto was fine, which is surprising because Jared Leto, you know, I mean, I'll give Jared Leto this for all the crap he gets. When you see him in a movie, he's definitely playing a character to the best of his ability. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not, but you get the sense that he is putting 110% into every role. You know, House of Gucci, he was like a cartoon character in that movie. And Suicide Squad, as bad as that movie is, as bad as that Joker is, you can at least tell, man, he's giving this his all. So I'll give him that. And in this movie, he is fine. He does a fine job. He's not terrible. I mean, really, it's more on the writing than anything else that this character isn't interesting or likable. You know, Jared Leto, I mean, he's doing the best he can. This is what was given to him, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing really he can do to make this character any better, you know. All the other characters, I don't care. Like the dad that takes care of him and Milo, didn't care. The opening scene is terrible. Not the opening. Well, yeah, the opening scene is terrible. It's a really boring way to start a movie, but also, there's a scene, a flashback where it shows Michael and Milo in an orphanage together, and it's just so terribly edited. It's terrible. You see them talking, and then in the middle of their conversation, it just cuts to them hanging out. Like, they first met each other, and then it just cuts to them just being old pals. It's like, what? Why would you edit it like that? And then they have these bullies that, like, beat up a crippled kid. Like, they just, like, he's like, Michael's like, yeah, I wouldn't go outside after school because, you know, stay inside every day after school at like 4 o'clock when school is out. And it's like, so you're telling me that the same group of kids just bully crippled kids on the same day every single day after they get out of school? Do these kids have nothing better to do? And then they beat them up. It's just like, what? Okay, whatever. And it's just, I will say one thing about this movie that is great is Matt Smith. He plays the villain. He's great. He's hilarious. I don't know if I was supposed to find him hilarious. I think so, but he is honestly the most entertaining part of the movie by far. And that's not saying much because, man, this movie is just kind of dull. It's just not interesting. You know, there's a romance between Michael and this girl, and I didn't care. This major character died, and it was supposed to be an emotional scene, but I didn't care. I didn't get to know him. I don't even think they said his name in the movie. Jared Leto, you know, I think he's a fine actor, you know. I know people, yeah, he's a douche, but he's a good actor, you know. But in this movie, he's just whatever. He just plays a boring dude. The action is bad. You know, the fighting is poor. There's really nothing about this movie that I liked other than Matt Smith. And even then, I don't know if I was laughing with him or at him. You know, that being said, it's not the train wreck I thought it would be. It's just a very dull movie. The movie's short. It's an hour and 40 minutes, but I felt like I was there forever. it's just not a good movie. It's just not. You know, there's really no reason to see this. And I saw this movie because I said, okay, I love Marvel and I want to know all the lore. So I better go see this movie because Adrian Toomes is in it. So it's like, okay, it must be important, right? And after seeing this movie, if you have that thinking, I can tell you right here, right now, don't see this movie. You don't need to watch this movie to understand anything. It is a waste of time. I genuinely felt like this movie was a waste of time. I feel like I gained literally nothing out of it. It's like, well, I watched it, and I still feel like I didn't learn anything about any of these characters. I didn't feel anything. I was just bored the whole time. You know, it was just a whole lot. This movie is just nothing. It is a whole lot of nothing for an hour and a half. You're just sitting there like dead. Like, there's nothing for me there's nothing I hate. There's just nothing good. You know, everything's just not done well. And it's just a nothing of a movie. And then it ends very abruptly. He fights Matt Smith. And there's a line in this movie that might be the worst line I've ever heard in a movie. He says, so he's trying to come up with this cure for Matt Smith that'll kill him because he's a vampire or whatever. And he says, yeah, this is deadly for bats and lethal for humans. Who wrote this? What the hell? But anyways, so then he kills Matt Smith at the end, and then it just ends. Like, it just stops. And I guess that girl's gonna become a vampire. Whatever. Tyrese is in this movie, and he has a bionic arm, which you see in the trailer. He even mentions it. You never see it in the movie. It's just so, oh my god. It's bad. This movie's bad. You could tell it was butchered in the editing room. I mean, this movie was going to be bad no matter what, because who the hell wants to see a Morbius movie? But at the same time, you know, you could tell that this movie is a chopped down version of a bigger movie, you know? And then it ends. It just kind of stops, you know? He kills Matt Smith, and then the cops see him, and then Morbius just leaves, even though he was going to kill himself because he's a vampire and he thinks it's a curse. But I guess he just decided, I want to be a vampire now. And I guess that girl's gonna become a vampire, even though he bit her. And this movie also has a piss poor twist where a nurse is killed and you're supposed to believe that it's Morbius, but then it's like, no, Milo really did it. It's like, yeah, obviously Milo did it. Obviously. It's so bad. There's no reason to see this movie. I don't recommend it at all. And now, let's talk about the credit scenes, the stingers. So when the trailer for this movie first dropped in January 2020, Michael Keaton was shown. And it got a lot of people confused. It was like, why is Adrian Toomes here? I guess this movie takes place in the MCU. But now that No Way Home is out, we figured, oh, multiverse, different universe. So this is a variant of Adrian Toomes. That would make sense. But no. Credits start out, and it shows the big rift in the sky from the end of No Way Home. So my thing is, okay, so is Adrian Toomes here because of the beginning spell or the spell at the end of the movie? Either way, it doesn't make sense because the first spell brought people from the other universe to the MCU. So why would it send Adrian Toomes there? And the second spell, it sent everyone back. Why would Adrian Toomes be sent back? He was... There's people outside my car. I thought they were talking to me and I got so scared for a second, but no. But anyways, Adrian Toomes is... Okay, so he's there. Fine, whatever. They can explain it. The only way I can think to explain it is, oh, well, he was from this universe the entire time, and I guess when he was a baby, he was sent to the MCU, and that's why he was sent back to his original universe. Doesn't make any sense, but that's the only way I can think of. But that's not said in the movie, so based on the logic we're given here, it's stupid. But anyways, Adrian Toomes shows up, and then they let him out of prison because they don't know who he is or whatever. So I guess there's no Adrian Toomes in this universe. Whatever. He's let out. And then we get a second credit scene. These credit scenes are like one after the other. It's like they wanted you to leave as soon as possible. They're like, bam, bam, done. Morbius meets with Vulture in a desert. And first off, how the hell did Toomes even get a way to contact Morbius, but whatever. And he shows up in the Vulture suit. How? He made that from Chitauri Tech, which was... He made that from Chitauri Tech, from the Battle of New York, from the first Avengers movie. From the first Avengers movie! How the hell did he get that tech? And even if he did get that tech, he wouldn't have been able to make that suit himself. He had the Tinkerer do it. He made the suit. Toomes just wore it. How would Toomes, even if he found the tech, he wouldn't be able to make that suit himself? Would he just find somebody else to make that suit? Hey, you Tinkerer, even though you don't know me, I'm from another universe, make the suit for me. How did he get that suit? He didn't have the materials. He didn't have a way to make it. How did he get that? And then he says, thanks for meeting me, Doc. I'm not sure how I got here, but I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. Okay. When you think of magic, do you think of Spider-Man? No! People know who Doctor Strange is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It would have made more sense for him to say, I'm not sure how I got here. Probably some, like, maybe he wouldn't even mention Doctor Strange. He would be, oh, I guess something magical happened in the universe because, like, the snap, you know, the blip. When that happened, you know, if stuff like that happens, you should be used to magic happening, you know? When this happens, you should think, oh, another Avengers cosmic thing happened that sent me here. You wouldn't just say, has something to do with Spider-Man. What the hell does Spider-Man have to do with this? How would you come to that conclusion that Spider-Man did this? It's like if I was transported to another universe and I said, I'm not sure how I got there. It must have to do with this guy that I don't like that works at Denny's that I got into an argument once. I'm sure he's the reason I got sent here. But he's, whatever. And does he even know Peter Parker is Spider-Man anymore? Did that spell affect him? I don't know. But then he says, yeah, has something to do with Spider-Man, I think. And then he said, anyways, I've been reading about you. Which basically means he just watched the movie. And he's like, and I think you and I can team up to do some good. And Morbius says, intriguing. And it cuts to black. That's the end. Morbius would not say intriguing. The character in this movie would say, who the hell are you? And what do you mean by do some good? What do you want to do? Why is he intrigued by this? You know what I mean? And the implication is he's intrigued because he wants to, because of Spider-Man? He doesn't even know who Spider-Man is. Why would he care? Why would he trust this guy? Intriguing. Why would he want to team up with Adrian Toomes? Sony. Nobody wants to see the Sinister Six movie. I guarantee you when that Craven movie comes out, everyone's going to make fun of it, and nobody's going to see it. Don't see this movie. I mean, I know it's already late, and you probably have already, but if you have not seen it, and you are considering watching it, do not see this movie. There's no reason to see this movie. If you love the MCU and you want to be caught up, don't, because this has nothing to do with the MCU. It actually kind of ruins some stuff from the MCU. My throat actually hurts from yelling. This is a terrible movie, you know? Like, it's, okay, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not even the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen. 16% Rotten Tomatoes, I'd give it more like a 25, you know? I mean, that's not much higher, but it's higher.